Do you get stressed when AI is all over the place, but all you know how to use is ChatGPT? Or maybe you're scared because it's coming to take your job? I totally get it. I even made a whole video talking about that feeling. But instead of panicking, I decided to make AI work for me. So today's video is actually 6 weeks in the making. I am so excited to share with you my AI editing agent that so far saves me 40 hours of manual labor in addition to $100 to $200 every single month. Fun fact, my editing agent actually helped me edit this video that you're seeing right now. I actually have a free version of my AI editing agent on GitHub, but if that sounds intimidating, don't worry, because I also created an entire PDF setup guide for anyone who's using GitHub or Claude Code for the first time. And I'll have it linked in my description, so make sure to stick around because at the end of this video, I'm also going to walk you through exactly how it works in real time. If you're a returning viewer, then you will probably know that I do both sit-down style videos like this one, as well as vlogs. They're both pretty painful to edit, just in different ways. For sit-down style videos, the rough cut is actually pretty straightforward, but the downside is that it's extremely repetitive. So in order to save myself from the mundane tasks, I sometimes hire an editor, but if I were to use that for all of my videos, that would cost me about $100 to $200 every single month. It's just not sustainable, especially because with that budget, you can't get a great editor, which means I'll have to spend a lot of time to go back and re-edit the video. For vlogs though, it's a totally different type of nightmare. As you probably can already tell, I really enjoy filming week in my life videos, and I'm super proud of being able to document my most emotionally vulnerable moments. But in order to capture those moments, I actually have to film a lot of A-roll footages. During editing is the time where I pick out which ones come up to make up the core story. But because of that, there's so many footages of me just yapping, and I sometimes find myself spending way too much time just to rewatch all of my yaps. So if that doesn't sound concrete enough, this is an example of a video that I filmed when I was on a cruise in Mexico, which will be coming out soon. But if you can see over here, I have 759 items in my video lists. I shoot them both on iPhone and DJI too, so the timestamp and the number doesn't really work quite well. And if you drag all of them into the timeline over here, you can see that this video is currently at 4 hours and 5 minutes of raw footage for a video that I expect to turn out to be 15 to 20 minutes long. So that is 4 hours of footage that I have to go back and rewatch just to pick out the final 10 or 15 minutes that I actually want to show you guys. It's actually quite overwhelming. And next up, I'll give you guys a sneak peek into how I built my editing agent. I'm gonna be very transparent. I didn't build it from scratch. Initially, I saw a Chinese GitHub repo that did something similar, and I realized it's actually a pretty good fit. So I forked that project, translated everything from Chinese to English, and also switched out the API they use for transcription because the original repo used a type of an API that is owned by ByteDance but only accessible in China. The podcast video editor issue is mainly resolved, but then after that, in order to make a fully functioning workflow for my vlogs, I actually built so many different enhancements on top of that. For example, I built a functionality to mass transcribe all of my 700 footages, summarize all of the A-rolls, and break them down into a day-by-day storyboard analysis, and finally upload everything to Notion. So I'm pretty proud of the work that I did, and we're gonna go through a full example of that later. But in case you're new to the channel, hi, my name is April, and I'm a 25-year-old software engineer living in Seattle. In my channel, I talk about life in your 20s, personal finance, but most importantly, how I use my experience in tech to help me pursue my creative passions. So if any of those topics sound interesting to you, make sure to hit the subscribe button, as I plan to make a lot of the AI related videos in the future as well. But enough about me, let's go back to my AI agent and I'll show you the exact numbers of what changed before and after the birth of my AI agent. Before my AI agent, I have to watch every single clip to identify the A-rolls, use CapCut to create a transcription. I have to read through every single transcript of every single A-roll that I filmed in the week just to find out where the storyline even begins. After the birth of my AI agent though, first of all, I stopped working with my video editors. What I found to be really challenging is that both of the editors that I worked with either make really rudimentary mistakes that I'll have to fix myself later, or they just repeatedly can't commit to the deadline that we agreed upon. But with an AI agent, that solves that issue to begin with. So essentially, I save about $100 per month for contract work with my editors. Another part that I found really valuable is that I also saved the emotional hassle of having to communicate back and forth. Moreover, the time saved is so much more significant when it comes to vlogs because I would just toss all of my clips from my DJI and my phone onto my computer, let Claude do everything until I have to manually pick out the A-rolls, and let Claude do everything else, including a storyboard analysis. So at least 8 hours of work is saved per vlog. That's roughly about 20 to 40 hours of work that I have to do every single month. Okay, now I'm so excited for the next portion, which, drumroll, is my results section. So in this section, I'm going to share with you exactly what I do with my agent to get my vlogs ready to edit. As you can see over here, this is a terminal on my computer, which basically is a file system. If you're confused, don't worry about it because it will be included in the PDF guide as well. But basically, the first step I'll take is to move into the folder that I'm working on. As you can see over here, I've moved into my Mexico vlog folder, and from here, I'll just type Claude to run Claude Code. And now you can see Claude is already running, so now I can just talk to it the same way that I talk to it on a web UI. So the first step I'll ask Claude is to look through my folders, find my clips, and sort them into a format that I usually work with. Go through my footages for this vlog and use the asset managing skill to sort my footages. And then Claude would read through all of my files and make all of the changes for me. As you can see, it identified 760 clips, which is what I showed you earlier. My clips are already being renamed. And now Claude has finished running on behalf of me. As you can see over here, it gives me an overview of how many clips that I filmed per day, as well as some of the footages it suggested me to delete because Claude was like, wait a minute, I think this might be taken by accident and you don't really need it for your vlog. So if we go back to the file system, if you click over here, these are all of my videos sorted and ready to go. What I usually do is I look through the videos with the del markers, and I was like, okay, maybe I do like this cruise ship video, so I drag it back in. And if I end up not liking the video, I would just delete it. The next step I would do is I would go through all of my footages to identify the ones where I actually talked a decent amount of the time, and I would feed those numbers to Claude for Claude to run a storyboard analysis. It typically takes a pretty long time though, so I'll only pick 2 videos for the sake of this demo. Let's do D113 and D533. I will feed the name of the clips to Claude and then ask it to generate a storyboard analysis based on the clips. Can you use the storyboarding skill to generate the transcript and upload the storyboard analysis to my Notion page? And over here, Claude would prompt to ask me some of the things it would want to know about my video. So I'll just answer these questions. And then last one, Notion page URL. I use Notion for all of my video plannings. So everything about a video that's not related to the clips themselves lives on the Notion page. This is my Notion page. So what I would do is I would literally just copy and paste this link into my Claude Code. And Claude would run through a transcription service to get the transcripts, run some analysis, and upload everything back into Notion. And it also gives you an update of the status. See over here, it has successfully uploaded everything to my Notion. So let's go back to Notion and look for it. This is my Notion page for my Mexico cruise vlog, and I usually put my paper cut on step 4. So if you open here and then scroll to the bottom, we can see that the AI provided an analysis. Since I only provided 2 clips, that's probably why it skipped the AI summary part. But if we go back in over here, we can see that it turns into a story, provides me into a summary, tells me some of the key character moments that I had, some of the hot takes or personality that I included in my video, as well as the clips. Over here, you can also see that it gives some suggestions on how I could potentially consider editing my video. And you can see this is the one for the second video as well. I also have to point out that this is a demo and I only use 2 videos, but usually I have like 10 to 20 A-roll videos, so it would be a very thorough storyline that Claude generates for me. But now with the storyboard part being done, I can go back and rough cut every single A-roll footage based on the summary. So what I want to do now is ask Notion to provide a rough cut for me. We finally made it to this part. As you can see over here, this is how my final review server looks like. A lot of these long pauses has already been cut out, but typically AI would give some suggestions and I can just review the final version. I can click the space key or play to play the video.
Have you ever wondered how much money you'll be spending? How much money does it take to go on a 6-day cruise to Mexico?
And I can even change my playback speed. So I can be like, I want to review it at 1.5x.
Have you ever wondered how much money it takes to go on a 6-day cruise in Mexico?
I can also save my progress using the save progress button for me to work on it later. But once I'm done with editing the first clip, I can also move on to the second clip. And once everything is done, I can just click on the cut all clips button to execute the actual cutting of all of my clips. This typically takes like about a minute or two, and I usually just move on to the rough cut of the next section as I wait for the computer to cut the video itself. While we wait for the video to cut, let me go through some of the known issues that I have, since I decided instead of giving you guys a totally polished version a year later, it might be a better idea if I give you something right now, and based on your feedback, I could iterate over it. So the first issue that I have is the token limitization problem. I revamped my entire workflow because there were some issues with the token. It always goes out of context. So right now that issue has been solved, but then the other issue is that the rough cut itself isn't as strong yet. So I have to put in some human effort as well to manually adjust some of the rough cuts based on the AI's responses. The second thing is, as you can see, currently in order to identify what is an A roll versus what is a B roll, I do it manually. But one of my goals in the future iteration is to work on a mechanism to auto identify A rolls versus B rolls, so I can just let AI do everything for me. The third issue that I have is the execute cut button that I just clicked on. It might not be the most efficient way that I was cutting the video, which means that my computer heats up a lot. If I have more time, I would do a deep dive investigation of why that is happening, and maybe there are some optimizations for me to do to prevent my computer from heating up every time I cut a video. And the fourth one is the most exciting one that I have on my mind, is to build a visible UI. So in case you are really confused by the CLI command, all of my creative girlies can focus on the workflow instead of learning how to use Git and learning how to use CLI. But as I was telling you guys about it, it seems like all of my videos have been cut. So let's check it out in the folder. As you can see over here, we created a new folder called Claude Output. And over here we can see one chapter with the 2 videos that we requested. And the videos after the rough cut would live in this cut output folder, which we can use these in the timeline instead of the original ones. And these are lossless, so you don't have to worry about the quality of the video becoming worse than before. But yeah, that is the long spiel about my AI editing agent. If you're curious and want to try it out, make sure to click on the link in my description. I have the GitHub repo as well as a full step-by-step guide to get it set up and get started editing. Let me know if you have other things that just bothers you so much in terms of editing a vlog, or it doesn't even have to be editing related. Anything in your life that you feel like it's so painful that you wish an AI could help you do it, but you don't know how to do it, please let me know, because I'm actually really passionate in helping people solve these type of problems. I would be so interested in making a video to address some of those comments if you let me know in the comment section below. If you find this helpful, make sure to give this video a like, and you can watch this video over here, which is another instance of how I balance my creative passions with my technical background. I'll see you next week. Bye.